Then here I am. I wish with a better audio than the first two video. I did, and this is an English lecture about a topic that Michael Bertiaux approached in third part, in the third part of the Gnostic workbook, and this is Oerg8. Oerg8 and his nature. Okay, this is only an introductive text. This is only an introductive text because I talked at the time yesterday. Okay, yesterday that the public need the major part of the public need to have an introduction of some concept, and then because I have the 4 book of the Monastery of the Seven Ray, and I use in this text some concept from this text, specifically from the third year, for the second year, because the second year the principal topic is sexual magic. So there is a part, okay, then when speak Michael Bertiaux, say Michael Bertiaux speak, and when I speak, when the text is mine, I say Nera Luce speak. Okay. Michael Bertiaux speak from Monastery of the Seven Ray, year 2 paper. Today, we are living in a world which is undergoing a transformation in its magical and occult thinking. It is no longer possible for anyone to hold on to those concepts which have been proven by higher minds to be both false and dangerous. And now we must come to face the 2 greatest areas which give rise to all of the problems which plague the human being in his quest for perfection. I refer to the domain of sexuality and to the domain of memory. All of the major problems of the human quest can be traced back to either sexuality or memory, where the power, which is of an entirely astral and occult nature, is both as weak than the voyager of the astral is weak in his capacity to attain to the grandeur of the divine vision. And yet, make no mistake, I don't refer to physical weakness, but to an entirely astral, esoteric lack of magical force. I do not refer to physical impotentia, but to ignorantia occulta, which is an entirely different matter. And then, Nera Luce speak. Are this word as a frame at the beginning of the second year of the Monastery of the Seven Ray, on which directs attention to the topic sexual magic, one of the 4 main thematic fulcrum around which the teachings of Monastery of the Seven Ray are. And these are words that Michael Bertiaux pronounced and wrote in 1969 when he had 34 years. More or less, how many shall I have in a month? Attention must necessarily proceed by granting broad to topic that will be covered in the next part, and I do fundamentally important idea fundamentally important to give the reader an opportunity to understand with the right mind and the proper attitude what will fail. Word of Oerg8 is a real word, and it is to the extent that we learn to read in the depth what is happening, directing the view toward the depth rather than to the uncertainty of the notion and its appearance. Bertiaux drawn in his text on an engineering perspectives from which many of the structural logic are taken and subsume the system, and at the same time the system fed and created in turn using the vibrational spectrum of sexual energy. The students will find in front of the concepts that are meta-represented at the same time over-represented, while maintaining, however, a stable anchor in prospects for structural logic that support our actual ability to know what Bertiaux described. And this is only the first level at which the student approach, the first thing noticed, and the first obstacle encountered. Another illusion within the illusion of words, the apparent complexity of what is ontologically to be represented phenomenally through the wording and apparent logocentricity that appear to be the essential wide and the first look. But this is not what I have seen. I find that the reasonable criticism of monism and logocentrism as its meaning and is justifiable even if is other than what it gave me. It was over the semblance of the dualistic language that it returned the depth of one meaning, or properly could say the power of life, which was hidden elsewhere, what the echo of which reached me. Sexual stuff of which system consists is much more similar to Eros cosmogonic, similar, for example, one example, Eros cosmogonic, the concept of Eros cosmogonic mentioned by Claudius, compulsion, versatility, rise and ecstatic voltage to a place from immemorial important, the ripple heights, and the high feeling in whose presence everything dies, and where one who dies there is immersed, becoming one. That was for me the sense of that sexual nourishment, an example of this sexual nourishment that the system asked, and of what it was composed. The system and the monitor together make up the world where Oerg8 lives, where he was born, where he lived, and where he lived for memorial time, the world of the future in the now, and the material now that emerged through sexual projection that channeled and made the merge reach the world Michael Aquarius called the world of Oerg8. I want to introduce you at Oerg8 and its counterparts, as I will submit my family, trying to explain also what is not written. Michael Bertiaux speak, EH2 paper, Monastery of the Severay. If the magician and his element of the image form one part of reality, this system in his mind should represent as a seal the association of various ideas and images of a sexual and remembered experience. Further image come to add the elements of interpretation for the experience are being constructed, interpreted, and begin to go under influence of constant association with the sexual magical parts of life with the sexual areas of the human body and the interpretation of various images and ideas as memory cells by means of the elements of philosophical category, principle law or residual analysis as the next most important feature and the development of the experience of validity. And how we interpret our experience is fundamental. For it is mainly by means of the method of implication known as association that the true mastermind and the memory power of sexual magic is constructed, not so much by skin-to-skin contact, but rather by idea to idea, one pattern of thought linked lively to another. Nera Luce speak. The sexual nature of the system is therefore to be understood as the incarnation of the idea, living symbol and body thinking, rather than a physical act. Nor is it something that border on the field, albeit that is aguantable, is understood from the reason by virtue of its linguistic nature, but the archetypal idea and its flowing. We can conceive then dually is as long as we read, but this is only the first level of understanding that will necessarily be exceeded. The intellect can refine horizontally up to its infinite extremes, and can be reached as the high peaks that verticality has placed and created in the pure conceptual. Bertiaux has in a sense met and syncretized some horizontal logic among those who had embodied for him the highest expression of logic, and he trusts deep along the layer of pain. And the depth is the place where the multi-stratification, multi-ideal become known, and whose logic structural, and whose structural logic we can bring out new way of view and high understanding. And along the continuum that unites the occult anatomy of power body of the practitioner to the system words, you can get on a plane and meet multiple mediators. Among these, the monitor is presented as the one who transmits and reports the communicational information through the levels to the one who will listen to them. And the monitor is the dynamic interface and manifold, the conductor, the one who hovers between words and communicates informational content core in the idea, in the world where sexual Oerg8 lives. Oerg8 thrives on this, has always lived, and this create the future as a result of this. Michael Bertiaux indicates that this creator, this being with names that seemed suitable, but it is clear that the names are not and will never be absolute. The substance of Oerg8 is the one that interests us here to investigate its region and its existence. There is only Michael Bertiaux, there is only the society of servo-mechanisms. There is only the system and the monitor. Nothing else can exist without their permission. Nothing can exist except what is permitted by the system and the monitor. There were first words which were talked to Oerg8 as he was admitted into the world of the other. He never knew what they were, but he realized that they were something like himself. Nera Luce speaks. Oerg8 lives in the world of the future and was born at that world. Its energy structure is entirely composed of organ energy, and its structure of thought is based on sexual vibrational component of energy. Its name comes from the concept of orgone, coined in the late 30s from Austrian psychanalyst Wilhelm Reich, who discovered, after numerous experiments on the psychological disease, this organ energy has permeated the entire space and the body, and that it was essential for a healthy expression of their sexual life and in general for the mental health. But the scientific community did not approve the sweep of the psychotherapist as deemed unacceptable. But after his death, there were many Oriental philosophical currents that employed these concepts with other names, prana, chi, aurex, esempi gratia, as part of their doctrinal corpus. Among these, Michael Bertiaux, very young at the time, fascinated by the discoveries the emerging field of psychology was doing, and as already we know, psychoanalysis and the libido study in psychoanalytic perspective. And so was because this at the creator who is in the world future, in the world of the future, was called Oerg8. Michael Bertiaux, as we see, has drawn frequently discoveries and innovation of his time when he wrote the Voudon Gnostic workbook, and integrated the knowledge he selected in a rather vast and complex doctrinal body, mixing them with engineering terminology and creating something that left many rather mixed. And he's always on the front page of the monastery of the Seminary in the second year of the course, which Bertiaux explains clearly how many of knowledge of sexual magic that will be given not only have to do with the physical contact, but are entirely unknown to the classical tradition of the science. This is the reason why anyone who wants to deal with voodoo Gnostic must know to go far beyond the mental categories and need to have a multifaceted, crystallized training in order to understand the expressed concepts. At the fifth understanding must then follow the occult and occult integration within the organic depth of the appearance of meaning in the form of pure concept. And this is the purpose, the silence passing through the filtering of noise. And Michael Bertiaux speaks. The earlier studies which you have passed through as a student of the monastery have been based to a great extent upon the foundation and experience of voodoo as a mystical and symbolic system. Now we wish to explore the implication of voodoo as an exact and methodological system or structure in the scientific and technological sense. And this means, of course, that we will emphasize the scientific and technical side of voodoo Kabbalah, which is both little known and rather underdeveloped, if known by the ordinary experts in voodoo science. However, the monastery has a quite large number of technical reports in its possession, which show that the study of voodoo as a scientific system is being attempted by other occult centers, although we might add that these attempts are vague and incomplete and show a basic misunderstanding of the nature of voodoo. Michael Bertiaux, Monastery of the Seven Rain, Year 3. And then I finished the text with this word. At this point, I believe you are ready to understand what I will be told of the nature of Oerg8 in the future. in the other my text in the future, and its operation as well as why he lives. What it is in what it seemed to me a high and sublime act of cosmic vampirism. It is the energy that comes from masturbation of system intoxicated, lit by the energy emanating by orgasm at the rarefied height of sexual energy spectrum, and is that operates the company more surface placed along the space-time continuum that create the condition for creating and maintaining the operations of the system. And in this sense, Michael Bertiaux speaks of the monitor as the teaching function of society. And then, waiting for Nera Luce, we will see soon with another text more specific about Oerg8 and the world of Oerg8.